slowly lower down so that you're sinking your hips onto your mat and you're drawing your arms out in front of you. I'm just going to do away with that box, you know, and also you can pin yourself so that maybe you're the biggest picture on the screen or not. I mean, whatever works for you. Gosh, I'm having a hard time pinning myself. There we go. Whatever works, but just make your way, just slowly lower down, draw your arms out in front of you, get your forehead on the mat and rock your forehead back and forth, giving your head a little massage as we start. Notice your normal breath, however it is. Isn't it wonderful that we can go outside now? We don't have to wear masks. Boy, do I like it. It's really wonderful. Rocking your head back and forth. Extend your fingers out a little bit further on your mat. Maybe the eye of your elbow comes up off the mat, but push your shoulders so your shoulders are going down, and sink your hips a little bit lower, maybe pressing into the mat with your fingers to sink your hips down. That really stretches out your back. And I can feel that in my lower back. My hips are able to reach the tops of my heels. Maybe yours can. I think it really depends on how tight and how the size of your hamstrings. So if you can't sink your hips so that they hit your heels, don't worry about it. And now start that Ujjayi breathing, that constricting of the back of your throat. Inhales and exhales through your nose, and you can count so that you can get to an even number in and out. We're going to do this for a bunch of rounds, so just start that breath now. One more round. And slowly make your way up to tabletop pose. Your pointer finger is at 12 o'clock. Your toes are straight behind you. Your hips are on top of your knees. And cow. Look up your belly, pop your booty, and exhale into cat, rounding your back, tucking your chin. Exhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Inhale into cow. And exhale into cat. Extend your right hand long in front of you and your left leg long behind you. Your hands really extending in one direction and your left foot in the other. Flex your toes down at your mat and now draw your right elbow to your left knee. Crunch in. Inhale and extend out. Exhale, crunch in. Inhale, extend out. Exhale, crunch in. And lower your right hand and left knee down. Breathe in, cat and cow. Extend your left hand out long and your right foot long behind you. Your right toes are extending down to the mat. Your left hand is reaching towards that front wall. Now exhale, bring that knee to elbow, extend out, inhale, inhale, extend out, exhale, elbow to knee, inhale, extend out, exhale, elbow to knee. Place your hands on your mat, maybe bring them up a little bit closer to the top of your mat, tuck your toes, and bring your knees up off the mat, just a couple inches. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Breathe here, drawing the crown of your head towards the front of the room, engaging your abdominal muscles. Breathe again. Exhale. On the next inhale, exhale into downward facing dog and pedal out your feet. Pedal left and right. And practice seeing how it feels if you bring your pinkies to the edge of your mat. So it's a wide downward facing dog with your hands. Now take your toes to the edge of the mat. Maybe your pinky toes right at the edge of the mat. See how that feels. This wide downward facing dog. Draw your shoulders down your back. Pedal your feet. See if you like that. Now, turn your toes to the left side of your mat. My feet are still pretty wide, and bend your knees. It's just a slightly different position, a slightly different feel. Now come high on your toes and shift your toes around to face the right side of your mat and bend your knees a lot. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and come high on your toes. Now come back to the middle of your mat and come up to a mountain pose. Spark your fingers up and bring them into your heart center. We're going to begin practice with the sound of one Om. Breathe in deeply. Exhale. Breathe in again. Good. Spark your fingers up, look up, dive down. Halfway lift, dive. Come up to a standing position to Tadasana. So this is where your toes are straight ahead. Unlock your knees, bring a little bit of spring. So we're using our muscles rather than locking out our legs. Draw your shoulders up and down. So your shoulders are down. Draw your chin back. Your ears are now over your shoulder. This is true north alignment. This is the kind of the basis for all of our standing poses. Draw your arches up so your shins are engaged. Draw all your toes up. Lower them down one at a time. See if you can do that. Feel all four corners of your feet. So you're feeling your toe pad, your big toe pad, and your baby toe pad. You're feeling the two corners of your heels. This is the strength that you need. Engage your abdominal muscles. Like you're zipping up your favorite pair of pants. Feel that engagement. You can even place your hands on your abdominal area and see if you can, when you make that tucking feel, can you feel that engagement? That's what we want. Draw your shoulders up to your ears, again, down your back. Now start these big circular movements with your shoulders, swing them around. I'm going in a counterclockwise motion. It doesn't matter because now we're going to go in the opposite. So whatever you were doing before, do the opposite. Rolling your shoulders around, making sure your knees are unlocked. My knees just kind of quickly go to the locked mode. Just roll it out. Now take your arms out long on your side, like you're reaching for either wall, and make big circular motions with your shoulders to release your shoulders. One of my shoulders has a constant click in it, and it's really good to do these huge circles. Now go in the opposite direction. See if that feels different. See if you've got a greater range of motion here. Swing around and around. Now come up and make little circles. Doesn't matter if you're going clockwise or counterclockwise, because we'll do the reverse in a second. And reverse it, little teeny circles. Good. And we're going to wake up our neck, so I want you to dip your neck. We're standing, dip your neck to your chin. Inhale, look up. Exhale, dip. Inhale, look up. Exhale, dip. Keep those shoulders down. Look up. Left ear, left shoulder. Right ear, right shoulder, keeping your shoulders down. You're taking your ear to your shoulder, not the other way around. And just keep doing it, going alternating from side to side. Take an inhale when you come up to a neutral head. And now pull it all together. Dip, come around to the left, look up. Exhale as you're coming around. Sitting up tall, standing up tall. Really accentuate this movement. It's really good for your neck. And go in the opposite direction now. Good, and come up to that neutral neck. Place your hands out in front of you like you're stopping somebody. Your fingers are pointing towards the ceiling. We're going to open and close our fingers 30 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Awesome. Meet me back in a tabletop pose. And I want you to get your shoulders over your wrists and place your fingers so they're facing one another on your mat. And bend into this. Bend your elbows and then come up to straight elbows and then sink, try to sink back into a child pose where your hips are sinking to your heels. And maybe that's a lot of pressure on your wrists. So only do it as much as you're not going ouch. Good. Bring your wrists, continue, place your fingers so that they're facing your knees now, okay? And again, bend your elbows, see how that feels. And now try to sink your hips back and see how that feels. Giving your wrists a little bit of a stretch. Now place your fingers so they're facing the outside edges of your mat. And again, bend your elbows. And now sink back and see how that feels. Come up and bend your elbows again. Good. So we've kind of stretched out our wrists. Come sit on your heels and just kind of give your wrists some movement around and maybe the other way. Clasp your fingers, reverse your fists. Bring that overhead, draw your shoulders down. Okay, good. We're all kind of stretched out and ready to go back into a downward facing dog. See if your down dog this time feels any different. Pedaling out your feet, breathing in and out. Pedal and pedal. Maybe your heels reach the mat, maybe they don't, doesn't matter. Just pedal them out and breathe. Shift forward to a high plank. So your shoulders are right over your wrists. Your body is straight. So you're not sinking down and you're not popping up. You're just straight. Draw the crown of your head forward. Breathe here and roll back to downward facing dog. Breathe out. Do that again. Roll forward. This time I want you to lower down halfway. Stay here. Now come up into upward facing dog. Your knees can be on the mat or up and roll back for downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. In and out. Come high on your toes. Tippy toe to the top of your mat. Lots of little teeny itsy bitsy steps. Just tippy toe, maybe 10, maybe 12. Come up on your fingertips as you come up to the top of your mat. Breathe here Take a good breath in, really stretch your back out, drop the crown of your head down. You're still on your toes. Now see if you can balance into halfway lift on your toes. Down. Try that again. Just take a breath, inhale, come up, half lift, and then fingertips to the mat. Now look, sink your heels down, halfway lift, straight back, draw the crown of your head forward. This should feel really good. And your abdominal muscles, again, should be engaged here. Step back for high plank, roll forward a couple inches, lower down, halfway, come up to upward facing dog, breathe in, and exhale out into downward facing dog and breathe. On your next inhale, come high in your toes. Exhale, bending your knees, emptying out so you're light, and walk or jump forward to the top of your mat, halfway lift, lower down, fold. The crown of your head is really sinking towards the mat. Grab your opposite elbows and into ragdoll and just sway from side to side as the crown of your head is drawing towards the mat. Maybe you're feeling this profoundly in your hamstrings, maybe elsewhere in your legs, but you're really trying to sink down. And the weight of your head and maybe the weight of your arms is helping you get there. Breathe in and out deeply. And fold. Place your fingertips on the mat. Inhale up to halfway lift. Straight back, step back for high plank. Here we are. Our shoulders are right over our wrists. We lower down just halfway. Come up to upward facing dog. And roll back for downward facing dog and breathe again. In and out. And I notice sometimes when I'm breathing in, I kind of come up on my toes. When I breathe out, I sort of sink my heels. Step your right foot forward for warrior one. So you turn your left foot. My left foot is at about a 45-degree angle. I can look at my screen and I can say I can bend more deeply into my right leg. Your pelvis is neutral. Your hips want to go to the front of the room. And we do that by drawing our right hip back and our left hip forward. You can do that with a self-assist with your hands on your hips, drawing your shoulders down your back. Look, gaze straight ahead. So your shoulders are in line with your hips as we make these very small adjustment. Bring your hands up to cactus and then bring your triceps around your ears for a full warrior one and breathe. The blade edge of your left foot is digging into the mat. It's really driving your right hip or your left hip forward. Open up into warrior two. So maybe you're turning your left foot a little bit more so it's at a 90-degree angle. It doesn't matter. And sink into that right leg. Your arms are stretching in opposite directions and your hips are now facing the left side of the room. Gaze over your right forefinger and breathe. Reverse your warrior. Right hand goes up, left hand goes down your left thigh. Look up at your right forefinger. Side angle. Lightly place your right forearm on your right thigh and bring your left hand up now. Look up at your left forefinger or left thumb. Breathe in, sink deeper into your right leg. And don't dump into your right forearm. It's just lightly placed there on your thigh and breathe. Come back up to warrior two. Swing your right toe so it's pointing to the left side of your mat and come into a pigeon toe. We're gonna come into wide leg forward fold. So place your hands on your hips, kind of like what we were doing in Warrior One. Sit up tall, shoulders down your back, crown of your head is up. Fold forward, so we're halfway down. And now place your hands on your mat, right underneath your shoulders. And again, draw the crown of your head down towards the mat. And breathe here. You can bend your right knee and extend your left leg long. So your left toes are flexed towards the ceiling. I'm on my right toes. I'm on my fingertips. I'm trying to sit up really tall. I'm looking straight ahead. And I'm going to balance by bringing my hands to my heart in prayer. Just practice it. If you fall out, it's okay. Good. And then come back up easily and slowly back up into that forward fold. And maybe now bend your left knee. If it's there for you, if not, just stay in the forward fold. It's good. I'm on my left toes now. My right toes are flexed to the ceiling. I'm going to try to come up on my fingertips. Breathe here. And see if you can bring your hands to heart in prayer. It's tricky. And come back up to forward fold. Halfway lift, straight back. And slowly come back up to stand. Bring your hands behind you and clasp your fingers and draw your shoulders down your back. Look up. Good. And just step back and come into downward facing dog. Kind of an inelegant transition to down dog. You probably could have done that a little with some other tricky move, but here we are in down dog. Pedal out your knees, and feet and knees, and see if your ankles, are you getting any, or your heels getting any closer to the mat. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Step your left foot forward. We're going to come into Warrior One on this side now. Bend into it. My right foot is 45 degrees, but I want to shimmy that foot so that that blade edge is really digging into the mat. And I'm sinking into my left leg, bent. My knee is right over my ankle. Maybe I can scooch my toes forward a little bit and come deeper into this. Your left foot should be bisecting your right foot. So they really are kind of, perpendicular to one another. Place your hands on your hip and see if you can shift your left hip back a little bit and your right hip forward. So your hip bones are facing the wall in front of you. Your shoulders are in line. Draw your chin back and come up to cactus arms, and then bring your arms fully overhead where your triceps are wrapping around your ears, and breathe into this and sink. Breathe and sink. Breathe and sink. One more breath. Open up for Warrior Two. Your arms are stretched in opposite directions. Look over your left forefinger and sink deeper. Reverse your warrior. Gaze up at your right forefinger. Your left hand is now right up at the ceiling, and your right arm is going down your right thigh. Breathe. Now lightly place that left forearm on that left thigh and bring your right arm up overhead and look up at your right forefinger. Try to stack your shoulders. So there's a chest opening here, but don't dump into your your arms. Your left arm is not supporting this. Your abdominal muscles are supporting this. And look up at that forefinger. And slowly make your way back up into warrior two. And now I want you to make the transition into goddess. So now your toes are facing the opposite corners of your mat. So it's the reverse of wide-legged forward fold. Our toes are now, my toe is facing, let's see, would that be the southeast corner? Whatever, you've got it. Here's the important thing here. Draw your knees back. Your knees will want to dump, draw them back, and you can do that by trying to lift your arches off of the mat, right? So here we are, you're feeling all four corners of your feet in the mat and your arches are raised and you're drawing your knees back. Sit up tall, and this is goddess pose. So bring your arms out to cactus, and see if you can lower on your exhale. So see how deep you can go into this, keeping your knees more or less over your ankles. Excellent. Slowly make your way up and bring your feet together. And here we are, facing the front of our mat. Take a drink, wipe your brow, take a breath. Your legs should feel like they've just gone through something. Because they have. I want you to step your right foot forward and bring your left foot back. We're going to be coming into a lunge. Here we are. So the point with lunge, it's a very similar stance as we were doing with the warriors, but we're on our toes. So my left toes are on the mat, and ideally we're getting our heel over our toes. So you're not like this, you're like that. And you're bending into this front knee. We're going to come into crescent lunge here. So you can start with your hands parallel to the mat and then slowly draw them up overhead. So the alignment here is our shoulders are aligned with our hips and our ankles, well, the right ankle is right below the knee and we're very high on our left toes. Bring your hands to heart in prayer and twist to the right, hooking your right elbow around that knee. Your hands are really pressing against one another to get your shoulders stacked. Draw the crown of your head forward and breathe. Don't allow your belly to dump into that thigh. If it is, try to draw it up and off that thigh. And breathe here. You may want to practice opening your arms. That may help you stack a little bit better. But slowly then just come back up into that crescent lunge. Here we are, we're in crescent lunge. Place your hands around your right foot and step back for downward facing dog. And again, pedal out your feet. Step your left foot forward between your hands and come up into a crescent lunge on this side. So do any adjustments that you need. Maybe you can scooch your left toes forward a little bit. Maybe you can come higher on your right toes. Take your time, there's no rush. See where your hips are. Bring your hands up to cactus, or maybe get them parallel to your mat. And slowly come up into crescent. It really helps if your feet are hip width distance apart. Breathe and sink. Breathe and sink. Bring your hands to heart of prayer, and now hook your right elbow around your left knee. And really use the leverage of your hands to start to slowly stack your shoulders, drawing the crown of your head forward. Breathe, use your breath. And slowly make your way out, pinwheel your hands down so they're on either side of your foot, and step back for another down dog. We're going to do that lizard lunge. So here's another lunge. This can be a low lunge, but I want you to step your right foot forward as much as forward as you can. If you can scoot your toes, that's good. Now, wiggle waddle your foot, your right foot out so that your pinky toe is at the edge of your mat. Bring your hands together on the inside of that foot. You can drop your knee. That's absolutely cool. You can have your left toes flat on the mat or flats. That doesn't matter. But I want you to lean into your right knee with your right shoulder. This is a hip opener. And ever since I started doing this on a pretty routine basis, I find my hips are in better shape. And I really give this pose credit for that. You don't have to lean much, and your knee's not going out very much, maybe an inch or two, but a little bit. And I think you can probably feel it. Breathe in and out, just breathe into it. It's not a big motion. It's not a big motion at all. And then come back up, raise your left knee if it's down, and step that right foot back. We're back in a down dog. Breathe in, exhale, breathe in, exhale. Your next breath in, step that left foot forward. So here we are. Bring your hands on the inside of your left foot. Your right knee can be raised or it can be down on the mat, doesn't matter. And toes can be flexed or flat. And scooch that left foot over so that your baby toe is right against the edge of that mat. And again, lean your left shoulder into that left knee. And you can look down, it's like it may be just, slightly being pushed out to the side. Not a big, not a lot, but a little. And breathe into it. Crown of your head can be drawing forward, or you can be looking to see how far that leg is moving over towards the left. Breathe. One more breath in. Good. And step back. Great. And tiptoe your feet up. Come up into the middle of your mat and just come up into a standing pose, Tadasana, as we prepare to do some balance work. So we know with balance, it's find that drishti point, that thing that is in front of you that's not moving. And you want to gaze into that so it almost just melts. See if you can find that thing. Gaze into it. Unlock your knees. Feel the strength of your feet in your mat. Feel the strength of your core, your shoulders on top of your hips. Draw your chin back. Extend the crown of your head up to the ceiling and draw your shoulders down your back. All of that goes into this very strong standing poses. I want you to simply lift your right foot up off of the mat. It can be 1 inch. It doesn't matter how much. And stand here and sink into this with your drishti, with your breath. Grab your right knee. Open that knee out to the right and extend your left arm long to the left. And see if you can slowly transition your drishti over to that left thumb. Bring that knee back into center and slowly transition your drishti to that still point in front of you. And lower your foot down. Breathe in and out. Now feeling all four corners of your feet and that strong true north alignment, unlocking your knees, draw your right foot up off the mat. Grab your right knee with your left hand. Your left knee with your left hand. And now extend your right arm out to the side. Draw your left knee over to the left and see if you can shift your gaze over to your right thumb. And slowly transition your way back to center, drawing your knee back, drawing your drishti back, and lower down. Good job. Take some breaths in. We're going to do a little flowy balance. I like this, and both of these balances that we're doing, we're practicing gazing and then shifting our gaze and then bringing our gaze back, and that's challenging. This is not child's play. This is challenging, but it's good. So stand up so that your toes are facing the front of your mat and breathe in. When you lift your right leg to 90 degrees, bring your arms up overhead. Drishti is straight ahead. Your knee is up maybe at hip height. And then kick back slowly with an exhale into airplane. Your drishti is now on the floor in front of you. Take a few breaths. You may need to do this in more than one breath. Go slow, like you're going through molasses, and then come back up. Knee up, arms up, drishti up, and drishti back, leg back, arms back. One more time. And place your foot on the mat and take some breaths. Take a drink, wipe your brow, and looking straight ahead, we're going to do the same thing on the left, but find that strength, find that engagement in your body, that alignment that will all help you. Gaze is straight ahead at a drishti point. On an inhale, bring your knee and arms up overhead, and on an exhale, kick back. I need to take a couple breaths to get there. But when I'm there, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to bring my leg up higher. And I'm going to exhale back into drishti straight ahead, knee up, arms up. And do it a few times at your own pace.
And when you're ready, just meet on the mat. Let's do one more. Let's get into a good double bind, which I think is another hip opener and it's another shoulder opener, and that is eagle. So come into chair legs. So your feet are hip width distance. Your thighs are not together, but they're drawing together. There's strength there. And simply bring your right knee over your left. If you can, bring your toes around to the inside of your left shin, or keep them flexed on the outside of your left shin, and bring your hands to heart and prayer. And when we do this, we want to sit up tall and then add the arms. Right arm under left, elbows at shoulder height, drishti, and breath. See if you can bring your palms out a couple inches further to the wall in front of you. Breathe in and out and sink. And come up out of it. Just like with all these balance poses, if you fall out, never mind, just get back into it. So come back into those chair legs. So we're bent, our booty's heading towards the back. You should be able to look down and see your toes. So chair leg, and bring your left leg over your right, flex your toes, or draw them all the way around your shin and bring your hands to heart and prayer. Sometimes with balance, it's good to dig your thumb knuckles into your chest wall. And now bring your left arm under your right, drishti straight ahead. Bring your elbows up and draw your palms forward. Excellent. Come up out of this. Good job. Let's do some grounding. So I want you to step your right foot forward. Take a drink if you need to. I think I do. Stepping your right foot forward and your left foot back. Come into that warrior two stance. Bend as much as you can that you're comfortable with. Now straighten your front leg, and we're going to hinge forward at our waist to come into triangle pose, Trikonasana. Your hand can be down on a block or on a shin, and draw your left arm overhead. Again, it's that stacking of shoulders. I think you probably can have a feel for that by now. And breathe. This is they call this grounding. Now come back up to stand, and we're going to do triangle, but we're going to do twisting triangle now. So step your foot forward, halfway up your mat, and maybe you grab a block and place your block on its middle level, like that, on the inside of your right foot. And place your right hand on your block. You can be on your fingertips, doesn't matter. You actually want your torso to be as straight as possible, so maybe on your hand is too low, maybe up on your fingertips is better. And slowly start to raise your right hand up to the ceiling and look up at your right thumb. The top of your thighs may be meeting. Breathe into this for a twisting triangle. And slowly make your way out of that. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So just step your left foot forward, get your block ready, place your right foot behind you, and come into warrior two. Breathe in and out, sink into it. Breathe in and out. Now straighten your left leg. Hinge at the waist, reach forward, and then come down, lightly placing your hand on your shin and drawing your left arm up now. It's like you're between two panes of glass. You're really kind of like your body is pressed into this flat piece. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Really try to open up your shoulders here. Breathe in and out. And slowly come out of it and step your right foot forward. Get that block ready. So it's right on the inside of your left foot. It can be at the medium height. You can even put it at the high height. It doesn't really matter. And raise your left arm up as your body twists. Look up at your left thumb. Try to stack your shoulders. One side will feel different. My left side feels a lot different than my right. Breathe in and out. These twisting exercises are so good. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Good. And slowly make your way out of it and make your way down onto your mat with your legs out in front of you. Remove any flesh from your sit bones. Sit up tall, crown of your head drawing towards the front of, or the top of the ceiling. I'm having a hard time with English today. I guess, I don't know what's going on, but anyways, I draw the crown of your head towards the ceiling, arms up overhead. Look at your fingers. Engage your abdominal muscles as you fold forward. You're drawing your lower back towards your knee. You can grab the soles of your feet with your fingers. Draw your shoulders down your back. So there's a lot going on here. Your legs are unlocked. Your lower back is pressing forward. You're drawing your shoulders down your back. You're not arching particularly, and you're just breathing into this. On the inhale, you extend. On the exhale, see if you can go lower. In and exhale, go lower. Good. Slowly make your way out of it. Place your right foot on the mat. We're going to come into a pose called wild thing. So place your left hand right behind your left hip. Your fingers are pointing to the back of the mat. Your right foot is flat on the mat, and we're going to lift our hips up and lift our left arm up and overhead. Breathe here. This is a wild thing. And lower down. Good. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Right leg is extended long. Left foot is parallel to kind of your right knee. Right hand is behind you on the mat. Fingertips are facing the back of the mat. Breathe here. Breathe in and out. On your next inhale, lift your hips up for wild thing on this side. Breathe in and out. And lower down. Kind of related to wild thing is, I don't know if it's related, but it's a twist, is Lord of the Fishes. So place your right foot on the outside of your left knee and bring your left arm to the outside of your right knee. Your fingers are facing the ceiling. Bring your right hand behind your right hip and sit up tall. The crown of your head is really extending to the ceiling. Inhale, extend, exhale, begin to twist and to begin to turn your gaze over your right shoulder. Sit up tall, breathe, extend, exhale, twist. And slowly make your way back around, maybe a little counter twist to the left And now we're gonna do that on the other side. So bring your left foot on the inside of your right leg. Right arm on the outside of your left knee. Left hand right behind your left hip and sit up tall. Crown of your head is really going towards the ceiling. On an inhale, begin to sit up tall. Exhale, twist around. So your gaze is slowly turning to the wall behind you over your left shoulder. Good. Slowly make your way back around. Straighten your legs out long in front of you. And just in case you thought we weren't going to do a few boat poses, we're going to do it. So I want you to come into your version of high boat. Engage your abdominal muscles. Lower down, looking at your toes to low boat. Exhale. Inhale up to high boat. Lower down to low boat. Inhale up to high boat. Lower down to low boat. Engage your abdominals. And lower down all the way. Get your block, maybe before you lower down all the way, and come into waterfall. You can do waterfall, headstand, legs up the wall, whatever, however you can, but you want to get your feet up over your hips. And if you're in shoulder stand or waterfall, make sure that your legs are not over like that, not where your toes are aiming towards the floor behind your head, but straight up. So that the soles of your feet are kicked right up to the ceiling and your legs are as straight as they possibly can be with your ankles over your hips. And breathe. This is rejuvenation. Two more rounds of breath. And lower down. Remove the block if you've got one. If you're on shoulder stand, just roll out. Come onto your back and grab the soles of your feet with your hands and come into happy baby. This is where your knees are aiming towards your armpits and just rock. Make sure you're completely on your full back and you'll be able to rock a little easier. If your lower back isn't on the mat completely, you may fall out of this. But just slowly rock, giving your lower back a little back massage. Bring your knees into your chest, come into a tight ball. And with knees together, roll them over to the left. Extend your right arm long and look over at your right thumb. Supine twist. And come back to center, maybe grab your knees and roll into that tight little ball again, and then lower your knees over to the right and extend your left arm long and look over at your left thumb. And slowly bring those knees back into center. Scrunch up into a little ball. Maybe bring your forehead to your knees. Scrunch everything. And Shavasana, a good rest for a really good practice
Flop your feet out to the sides. Your palms are up. And just resume your normal breath. Bring some movement into your fingers and toes. And roll onto your side, cradling your head in your arm and into a fetal position. And make your way slowly into a comfortable seated position with your eyes closed. Sit up tall. Bring your hands to your heart in prayer. We'll end practice with the way we began, with the sound of one Om. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Bring your thumb knuckles to your forehead and look up. The light in me honors the light in you. Together we bow and say namaste. Namaste.